Okay, today I review a course called La Perina golf course in, this is a little tricky part. I'm going to say it's in Santa Maria, California. It's close enough. I think it's the nearest major town. It's about halfway between Santa Barbara and Santa Maria, technically, but it's more towards Santa Maria. And it's on a road called CR 246 off of a small town called Lompoc, which is south of Santa Maria. And it's about 5 miles out of Lompoc, going southwest on CR 246 towards a town called Buellton. These are all just off the west coast of California, down near Vandenberg Air Force Base and off Highway 101, really, by about 10 miles. Up in the mountains, the coastal mountains, or I guess, yeah, they're really mountains, I would say. Low mountains, about 2,000 to 3,000 feet, and off the coast, and just in gorgeous wine country, kind of a deserty type wine country. And the course is in a small valley surrounded by low cliffs, and it just happens to be just close enough to CR 246 for that to be a factor on the 17th and 18th holes, maybe the 16th also, tee box for the 15th. And it, in general, I would say it is a A- course. And I will say this not because of the degree of maintenance, not because of the degree of the aesthetics of the course, not because it's such a great value or it's in such good condition, or even that it has such great views. I will say that it is an A- course simply because it plays really well. It's a good, I would say one of the best balances between difficulty and challenge and fun that I've played in a long time. Now, it's not a long course, and that is certainly a factor. It's not a 7,500 yard course from the back tees. And I think that masks a few things. The length of a course and focusing on the length of a course masks quite a few things. It gives the impression that you can't really have fun playing golf unless you have to hit a bunch of long shots. And I say that has a certain degree of truth to it, but beyond the length of shot that you can hit even passably well, with like maybe a 25% chance of hitting it, you're just not going to really take those shots. You're going to lay up and take, 2 shots instead of taking 1 shot. So I think, with the longest shots you probably hit off the tee box being 300 yards, the longest shot you'll probably hit off the fairway being about 250. This course isn't long enough to give you that level of challenge. If you can play a 550 yard par 5 in 2 shots, maybe not that much of a challenge. But on the other hand, part of playing a 550 yard shot in hole in 2 shots is that you have enough room to actually hit the fairway, and you have enough room to get to the green. You need enough room to do it, unless you're one of those guys who can play within 10 yards of the center of the fairway. Now, in that case, no, it is not going to be a super challenge for you. But I would say 99.9% of us golf players are not tour ready, or low amateur ready, challenge level players. And a course like this, it has quite a bit of verticality. It has quite a bit of challenge off the tee and on the approaches. A lot of good verticality going up and down hills and over water and so forth. That for most of us, certainly for me, it was a good challenge. I wouldn't be able to come out here and play par in this course in the back tees. It's just not going to happen. Not even knowing the course fairly well, and not to mention I'd only played it once. Actually, I'd never played it before, and having only played it once. I would say that for most of the people I have ever played golf with, and I've played golf with some good players, I don't know a single player who could come out here and walk in this course and par it, okay? It was, on the other hand, it wasn't the kind of thing where you could play it for 6 months and still have trouble breaking 100. It wasn't that hard of a course, but it wasn't easy either. It was a good challenge. And so for that reason, and the fact that I did enjoy playing, it had just about everything I wanted in a golf course, okay, except for a good cart path, and except for a greenskeeper or groundskeeper who actually wanted to go out there and fill all those rabbit holes and whatever holes on the sides of the fairways in some of the holes, like number 7, and which was really just kind of riddled with rabbit holes on the sides of the fairway. So except for those things, it had pretty much everything I would want. Now, it doesn't have coastal views, but it does have good high views from what I would say you'd look for if you're playing on a course near the mountains. It was very hard to beat it in terms of aesthetics, in terms of the views. It had very few houses on or near the course, and there was not much, if any, real road noise. There certainly was. I'm not going to deny that on 17 and 18, there definitely was some road noise from CR2 246 going by the course, no question. But for 95% of the course, there was no road noise. For almost the entire course, I heard nobody else out on the course except one or two of the guys playing. I think there was one spot where I heard someone commenting because I was talking so loud to myself on the number 15 tee after, blowing it twice and talking to myself about how I'm going to hit it. So I heard somebody off in the distance in a house that was maybe 100 yards away talking. Why is that guy talking so loud? But most of the course, it was a wonderful, isolated golf experience, which is, rare. Let me put it, rare for that to happen. Very rare. Okay, wonderful experience to go out and play golf. The facilities were very nice. It had a nice dining area, nice club, nice pro shop and everything. I didn't really get to check them out in detail because I got there and played Twilight. And by the time I got off the course, they closed everything except the pro shop, but they still had the pro shop open. I was able to a couple of drinks. Thank God, because it was on the warm side and dry, very dry, and I didn't stop to drink water while I was on the course. So by the time I finished, I was just, I'll give you some water, choking. But they had lots of water and good solid restroom facilities on the course. So it wasn't like I couldn't have gotten water. I just didn't. I was enjoying myself too much, and I was trying to get around to get to the concession stand before they closed, but it was too late. It was probably I started at 2, probably finished around 5:30, and they'd already closed up the concession stand. So that was one thing about it. They closed very early, on a Friday no less, in terms of the concessions. But other than that, it was a really good course, and I really hate that I'm going to have to add a couple of pictures of the coastline coming in and off of 101 just to give you a feel for the general vicinity. And it's just, you drive from Santa Barbara to this course, it's just an hour of beautiful, low mountain scenery, wine country scenery, just a really nice drive. And it's just a nice place to go play. Let's just put it that way. I learned something about what they call a links course, why it's called a links course, what it really means. And what it means is that you have a course on a cliff or on a coastline where there's a mixture of sand as much as long grass and so forth. And it's, the fairways and so forth, they're not supposed to be solid grass with lots of grass. They're supposed to be patchy, a mixture of grass going up through the sand and low scruffy grass and so forth, because it's supposed to make it harder for you to hit shots off the fairway, not easier, even from the rough or from the waist. And that, it's like St. Andrews. If you think of St. Andrews or Potrush or some of these famous Irish courses, that's what a links course is. It's on the shore, okay? It's not supposed to be, flush, lush, and full of grass everywhere, like a country club course. So this course is not really a links course, but it isn't a country club level type of course like the course I reviewed last week, which was Oak Tree in Arizona. It's much more of sort of a scruffy course. It's just not too scruffy to play, and a mixture of the course I played. I remember playing this once at Hagerstown, Maryland. Very similar course to this, and it's a small kind of course in the middle of a valley and so forth, and nice trick shots and so forth. I certainly played a lot of little courses like this. They're not super long courses, and they have a good variety of shots sort of tucked in there, okay, like Easter eggs in a video game. And I just had a great time playing it. I really did. It wasn't a long course like Little Bennett. It wasn't a long course like Whiskey Creek. It wasn't a super grassy course like Musket Ridge, where you're just, it's like out in a field on a hillside somewhere, and they just let the grass grow, except where they cut it in the fairway. And if you didn't hit the ball in the fairway, man, it was gone. You weren't going to find it. It wasn't a course like that, and I can appreciate that. And it wasn't a course like, say, Diamond Ridge or one of the other courses I played in Baltimore County, where the fairways were sloped, maybe 30 degrees right to left, and there was long grass at the top of the hill, so you couldn't play, up on the top and let it roll down. And there's long grass at the bottom of the hill, so if it dropped down 20 feet or 30 feet below the fairway, it was down in this big expanse of deep grass / woods. It wasn't that tough at all, but it was close enough. It was sort of right in that sweet area. I won't call it a sweet spot. I'll say sweet area between a course that was too flat, too hilly, too short, too long, too wide, too tight, too hard, and too easy. Not enough carries, too many carries, too long carries, too much water, too much waste, too much sand. It was right in the middle of all that, and just clicked. And it was quiet, and there weren't that many houses, and I really enjoyed it. So I give you a few extra minutes, 3 extra minutes of me gushing over the course. I certainly wouldn't say that it replaces a lot of these other courses that I mentioned, but it does complement them very well. It's sort of like the epitome of what I think a good, challenging, but let's say not overly big and not overly wide course is like a fun, challenging course for an intermediate golfer. And at $50 at Twilight, I definitely was glad that I felt like I got my money's worth, because that's a lot of money to play a course on Twilight. Let me put it that way. In any course, $50 at Twilight is a lot of money. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I give it a solid A-. That is La Pristina. I believe it's Pristina, yes, La Pristina. It will be in the name. Golf course in Santa Maria, California.